And then how did that lead into, was it getting casted for Project Runway?
Yep. So I worked for a retail store here for a couple of years just to learn basically how to run a retail location. Because then I knew in the future that with my business, I would need to learn and know all of that information. While I was doing that, Project Runway was already being run on television, and I've tried out 3 times already for the show. And going forward, every year, I was like, okay, I'm going to try out one more time. And it was in 2015, I went for it, and I said, okay, this is going to be the last time I'm going to try already. Because if they don't like what I do, then it's pretty much not what they're going to want, because take it or leave it. I basically threw my hands up and I said, this is all I can do, and this is what I'm great at, and this is what I have to offer. And from there is when I pretty much just said, screw it, like whatever, and left it all on camera and said whatever. If they don't want me, they don't want me now, they're never going to want me. Mm-hmm. And that's when they saw, like, I guess in me, that this is the true me, and this is what the strongest pieces that I have. This is how strong I am as a designer. And it took me 6 times to try out for Project Runway, and I kept on going back. And I took every single time they gave me a critique, I went back and I looked at my collection and I realized, like, okay, yeah, this isn't what I should take out some stuff, like minimize everything and be stronger at it. And take that criticism and really, like, go and hone into what my strengths is. Mm-hmm. And see what was wrong with it. So when I went in, I really looked at my collection, and at that time, I was really strong at denim and construction, and I had a strong suit for design elements, and I was a little bit more over the top, and that's what I sold to them, was this is who I am, and take it or leave it. And that's when they saw it, and they casted me for season 13 of Project Runway.
I didn't know that you had to try out so many times just to get on.
And it's all paid by me. It was paid by me. So it's paid by the person.
You had to pay to try out.
Yeah.
Wow.
And this is all open casting. So open casting is you have to either fly to the location that they're doing the casting and pay for any types of portfolio information that you have to send. So usually the portfolio is like 15 pages long, or 15 pages long, which is all of your information or sketches and photos. So all of that has to be sent over on your own. And it usually has to be couriered over, so it's a little bit more expensive.
Wow.
Yeah. And then if they ask you for a video interview, then you have to fly yourself to wherever it is, which was California was my closest one. So I had to go there, get interviewed, and then they would let you know if you were a finalist or not. So before I even did this, I didn't know what the whole process was, as far as what was the titles that you would be to get through to the show. To be in reality TV, there's no book to read, or I didn't know at that time if there was a book to be a reality star.
Mm-hmm. There's no Kim Kardashian.
No, none of this.
The Kardashians. There was the real world.
Yeah. And at that time, the Google wasn't really big too.
Yeah.
And just to like figure out this whole world, I didn't understand what it was, and didn't realize that Project Runway was more of a reality show and then a design competition second. So going in on this, I just thought, I get to show people, look, this Hawaii boy can design like everybody else, and kind of bridging that gap. And that's what I really wanted to tell people was, we don't just wear mu'umu'us, and we can design creative things as well too. And that's the story that I really wanted to tell them. It's like, look at us here. We can do more than that. And going through that whole process, I had to figure it out on my own. Like when they told me, okay, you're a finalist, I was like joyed and I was surprised. I was like, oh my God, yeah, I'm on the show. And then they were like, oh no, you're not yet cast. You're just a finalist. Then I get the call, okay, you're going to be flown to New York, and then you're going to figure out if you're casted onto the show. Then you're a cast member after that. If you're a cast member, then you're on the show. So when I read that I was a cast member, that's when I realized that you're a cast member, meaning you are just there for reality. You know what I mean? Like they make sure you have to fit a role, and they're looking at you as what role that you're going to be placed on the show.
Wow. So do they coach you on that? Like you gotta act extra Hawaiian, make sure you wear all your floral prints, and like
They don't.
stuff like that.
That's the one thing they don't
Okay.
do, but they steer, the production does steer a question into a particular direction. They will, when you're mic'd up, they hear everything. So there's a transcriber that will literally sit behind the scenes and type everything out. So if you just so happen say something, and this is something I found out after, if you say something, the production team will ask you the question, like, didn't you say this? And I found this out after. I didn't know, but that's why they ask these questions, is like they will really like look into everything that you said. Like, didn't you say this about this person?
Didn't
and I'm
you
like,
say that Angela was
Yeah.
giving you the stink eye when you walked in over there?
but that's how it is. Like, I didn't know all of this, and this process was really quick. Was I got onto the show within, I think, a month or 6 weeks. I was casted onto the season, so I didn't know, or wasn't really prepared. Here I am, like thinking, oh yeah, I want to get onto this TV show. And then when the process was happening, I actually was within a month that I was like being flown to New York, and we were in production already.
Wow.